Good evening and welcome to this special broadcast that continues to keep a close eye on the aftermath of the Afzal Guru execution, especially for its political consequences in Jammu and Kashmir. While political parties mostly have welcomed the decision by the government to execute Afzal Guru, convicted in the parliament attack case since 2005, elected parties in Jammu and Kashmir, in fact, most of the major parties are expressing apprehensions about the consequences. Today on the program, we ask whether politics can ever be separated from death sentences when they are executed. Are there really double standards for convicts in the Rajiv Gandhi case or in the case of the assassination of former Punjab Chief Minister Beyant Singh? And we also ask over the next 60 minutes, will the Afzal Guru execution widen the gap between Delhi and Srinagar? Why are Jammu and Kashmir's politicians talking in a different language from the rest of the country? Meanwhile, in the Kashmir Valley, the situation remains tense. Most of the valley continues to remain under curfew, with internet and cable television services impacted. In clashes between people protesting the execution and security personnel, 3 people, including a 15-year-old, have now been killed and scores of policemen have been injured as well. Nazir Masoodi brings you the story.
Violent protests continue in parts of the Kashmir Valley 3 days after the execution of Parliament attack convict Afzal Guru. 3 protesters have died in the clashes between protesters and security forces. A 15-year-old boy, Obaid Ahmed, was hit by a security force's bullet during a protest in Baramulla district. He succumbed to injuries later. 2 protesters drowned in a river as their boat capsized while trying to escape security forces. A CRPF personnel was also injured after being knifed by a protester in Baramulla. Over 30 policemen have been hurt in clashes with protesters. Security has further been tightened. Most parts of Kashmir remain under curfew. No newspapers, internet or cable TV services in most parts of the valley. Even as Kashmir remains volatile, the controversy continues to rage over when the letter was sent to Afzal Guru's family informing them about his execution. The family received the letter today, 3 days after Afzal was hanged. The stamp on the letter shows that it was dispatched on February the 8th from Delhi, just a day before the execution. It reached Jammu and Kashmir on February 9th and was delivered to the family this morning.
This letter was booked on 8th and it was received in Srinagar on 9th. The article has been delivered today early morning.
The Home Minister, however, insisted that the family was informed in time.
7 तारीख के रात में ही उनको स्पीड पोस्ट से बता दे दिया था और ये 9 तारीख को एक्शन था.
Guru was buried in Delhi's Tihar jail after the execution, and his family has written to the jail authorities demanding that they be allowed to perform his last rites.
Every Kashmiri's demand, and particularly the family's demand, is that we want his body back so that we can have his final rites back home.
New Delhi continued to defend the decision not to hand over Afzal's body to his family.
Do you believe the body of Afzal Guru should be given to his family?
No.
Why not?
No, I think sometimes I personally feel if it is,
at least this should be done, says Mehboob.
My thing is, if it is something that the governments of all the states believe may lead to further trouble, I think I know it's terrible for me for what I'm saying, but I have to stand by what I'm saying.
The Home Minister today said that the government will consider the family's request to visit his grave in Tihar jail.
वो जाना चाहते हैं तो it can be considered.
Jammu and Kashmir Chief Minister had yesterday slammed the execution and had expressed his anger over the fact that Afzal's family could not meet him one last time.
The long-term implications are far more worrying because those are related to the psyche of the people of Kashmir. They are related to the psyche of a new generation of Kashmiris that may perhaps not identify with Maqbool Bhatt, but will identify with Afzal Guru. As a human being, I find it very difficult to reconcile myself to the fact that we executed a man and he wasn't able to see his family before that execution.
The BJP has hit out at Omar, saying that the Chief Minister was talking like a separatist.
जम्मू कश्मीर के मुख्यमंत्री भेष बदलकर अलगाववादियों की भाषा बोल रहे हैं.
I am Farooq
But Omar's father and Union Minister Farooq Abdullah, taking a line different from his party's, has said that Afzal is a closed chapter.
Supreme Court, the High Court, they passed a sentence. Mercy petition was put before the President of India. He rejected the petition. So the matter is over.
The question is, will the valley treated as a closed chapter in days to come?
While the letter informing the family about the decision to execute Afzal Guru has finally been delivered at his home today, 3 days after his execution, the worst fears that his execution may lead to protests and more deaths have come true. The valley today buried 3 of its young men who died during clash with the security forces. As Chief Minister Umar Abdullah says, the biggest worry is its impact on the psyche of youth are the protests and these deaths, an indication of a new volatile era in Kashmir. In Srinagar, Nazir Masoodi for NDTV.
So on the program today, we're asking, why is it that Jammu and Kashmir's major political parties are opposed to the execution of Afzal Guru? Why is it that the main national parties, the Congress and the BJP, are talking in a different language from the parties of Jammu and Kashmir? We're also looking at whether politics can ever be removed from the decision by a government, any government, to execute somebody. Joining us tonight, live from Srinagar, is the PDP chief, that's the main opposition party in Jammu and Kashmir, Mehbooba Mufti. Mehbooba ji, thank you so much for talking to us tonight. I want to start by asking you a question that I think a lot of people in the country would have for you. You are an elected politician of Jammu and Kashmir, and therefore a number of Indians would want to ask you this tonight. Why did you issue a statement saying you are disappointed by the execution? Why is it the position of your party that Afzal Guru should not have been hanged? Because after all, the highest court of the land had convicted him.
Barkha, you know very well how much Kashmiris have suffered for the last 20 years. We have had thousands of people killed, thousands of widows, orphans, property destroyed, so much trauma that Kashmiris have, undergone for the last, I think you were here all the time. You have seen our suffering. So now finally Kashmiris were, picking up their threads. And there comes this, hanging of Afzal Guru. It's not, hanging of one individual. It seems to be a collective hanging of the whole nation, the whole Kashmiri people, because I think Afzal Guru's hanging should have been stopped because there were enough reasons, both political as well as, I would say there were legal reasons to commute this death sentence into life imprisonment. We are not asking you to free Afzal Guru. But after having invested so much in the peace process by the people of Jammu and Kashmir, by Atal Bihari Vajpayee, by the present Prime Minister, I don't know, what came upon the Congress party that they finally, as even Umar Abdullah Saab said that, they just jumped the queue.
But can I ask you?
Jumped the queue and
But can I ask you, when you say that this is not just the hanging of Afzal Guru, it is the hanging of all Kashmiri people. A lot of people would ask you, Mehbooba ji, why do the Kashmiri people feel the need to identify with somebody who has been associated with the Jaish-e-Mohammed? After all, even you are not saying he was innocent. You are saying give him life imprisonment. So why does this generation, why is it yours and your political opponent, the Chief Minister's feeling that this generation of Kashmiris will identify with Afzal Guru? Why do you feel that?
Well, Barkha, there are reasons. Kashmir is a political problem. It has been a political issue. So many people have lost their lives. You know what has happened to Kashmir for all these, years. So it is not something, you don't know about. So when something like this, I wish, because Indian democracy, it's a great democracy. I wish, it had the accommodation to commute this death sentence into life imprisonment. It would have, I think it would have increased the prestige of our country. It would have, increased the prestige of our Indian democracy rather than hanging a person. And that also, in such a inhuman manner, you have not allowed his family to meet him. You have not allowed his children to see him. And then, the family is pleading for the body. It can't get worse. It can't get worse, can it?
But your father today, Mehbooba Mufti, issued a statement saying that the manner in which the execution has been conducted made India, the land of Mahatma Gandhi, seem like a banana republic. Now, do you believe that this is a responsible statement? Because a lot of people would say that Indian democracy is what gives space to him, to you, to Omar Abdullah, even to separatists in Jammu and Kashmir, everybody to express their opinions freely. Is it fair or responsible for the PDP's patron, Mufti Muhammad Saeed, your father, to call India a banana republic?
Well, बरखा हम तो अलग अलग नहीं बोलते. उमर साहब एक बात बोलते हैं, फारूक साहब दूसरी बात बोलते हैं. हम तो हमारी पार्टी में सब लोग एक बात बोलते हैं. और you know, my father is a very serious person. He doesn't talk much, but he is hurt because he believes in India. He is an Indian by commitment, not because of power कि उसको कुर्सी मिलती है नहीं मिलती है. So when he says something, he is hurt. You know, he is disillusioned because he had invested a lot in the peace process. आपको मालूम है, when PDP Congress government was there was a turnaround in the situation. So we feel everything has gone waste at this point of time.